What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to 10 remarkable American inventions that changed the world. Now, in this sort of, I guess, the digital age and stuff, like with computers and the internet and stuff, I feel like the US invented a lot of the stuff surrounding that. But in terms of inventions that the US has done in general, I'm not really too sure. Obviously, the US has been a global superpower for now probably around 100 years or approaching that, around and about that. Maybe since World War II, but probably a bit before that as well. And yeah, I guess with that came along with like all these innovations and stuff, and I guess we're going to see maybe things that we use day to day now that I guess are thanks to inventions from the US. And yeah, we're going to check this out and see some of these things, but hopefully going to enjoy. Hopefully you're all doing well. And let's jump into this.
In 1997, fully half the households in America which were connected to the internet were using AOL.
You've got mail.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the greatest inventions in American history. These tools change the way we interact with the world and represent huge technological leaps forward.
Information isn't bound up anymore. It's an entity. The only reality is virtual. If you're not jacked in, you're not alive.
Number 10. Email. Email revolutionized the way human beings communicate around the world. The Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, or ARPANET, sent the
How would email have been a thing in the 70s?
first email in 1971. Programmer Ray Tomlinson pioneered the use of the @ symbol as well, creating a standard for email directionality.
It was just a hack. And the next step was to get other people to try using it.
Within 5 years, the majority of communications at ARPANET were via email. With the advent of attachments in 1992, emails became the easiest and fastest way to send information from point to point.
Click here, and it's done.
By the start of the 21st century,
Was email like the way people used to just like talk? Like, you know how people like use Facebook and I guess WhatsApp and just basically text and stuff. Was that initially the way that people would have conversations like on the internet and stuff? I assume that may have been the case, but maybe not so much, because I guess that was just a thing that people would just send certain bits of information and stuff. I'm not sure, but to be one of the to be able to do this and to create this in the 70s, and then obviously in the 90s it be like the form of how people send things to each other, it is pretty incredible, because he made that before the internet was even a thing, which is pretty wild to think about.
email became one of the primary tools for global communications. Email allowed people from all over the planet to communicate with the click of a mouse.
Hey, everybody, I'll just email you. I don't have an email.
Number 9. Magnetic resonance imaging. It's impossible to measure the impact of the MRI machine on
Oh,
the
it's the
world of
MRI.
medicine. Nuclear magnetic resonance has been
Damn.
around in one form or another since the end
I shouldn't really be surprised, because I guess the US and medicine as well as the digital age, medicine as well, the US has such an important role in the development of that sort of stuff.
of World War II. But two doctors in the late 1960s and early 1970s saw the potential to revolutionize medicine forever. Doctors Paul Latimer and Raymond Damadian separately experimented with NMR in scanning for cancer cells. By 1974, results of their experiments were published and a patent was filed. By 1977, the first full-body scanner was invented. There is no way to calculate the number of lives saved by the MRI machine, but it's easily in the millions. Latimer's contributions to MRI development won the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 2023.
Damadian protested vigorously in 2003 when a pair of other doctors won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for their contributions to MRI technology.
Number 8. Interchangeable parts. Standardized interchangeable parts for machines is not a new idea. There is evidence that ancient Carthage used them for their warships thousands of years ago. The Qing dynasty used them for crossbows in ancient China. The military of the 18th century France attempted to follow their example to limited success. French experimentation with interchangeable musket parts inspired Thomas Jefferson in 1785. He pressed his fellow Americans to follow suit. In 1798, President George Washington and his Congress came through. They awarded a contract to Eli Whitney to provide the government with 20,000 muskets.
Building 10,000 muskets as individuals would take an enormous amount of time. That's where he conceived the idea of interchangeable parts.
After his death, Whitney's arms company perfected the process. Interchangeable parts are now a staple of modern manufacturing.
Oh, so I guess it's like sort of like being able to replace things without having to just get a new thing. So say something's gone wrong in your car I mean, I don't know if there was ever. I think this is way before cars were created. Something's wrong with your gun. I guess beforehand, your gun's just done for. Now you can just replace a small little thing and it just fixes it. This is a weird one because I wouldn't have thought of this as an invention, but the fact that this actually was like a thing beforehand where they would just build things and it will all just be like one thing, I guess is what he's trying to say. It obviously is an invention, and the importance of it that is, like you're saying now, with everyday items that we use day to day, like phones, for example. Say maybe this invention wasn't made, and for some, I don't know how we would get to this point. Somehow we would get to the point of now we have phones, but there's no interchangeable parts. If your phone, the smallest thing on your phone breaks, let's just say your phone's camera breaks. It's probably not the smallest thing, but your camera breaks, and now you can't take photos no matter what. But now you can replace that bit. So yeah, I can see that, to be fair. It's a very important thing with just everyday things that we use.
They allow for quality control, cost control, and the speedy manufacture of goods.
While most people remember him for the invention of cotton gin, it's really the concept of assembling interchangeable parts that truly changed the world.
Number 7. Personal computers. The first general-purpose computer, ENIAC, was invented in 1946 at the University of Pennsylvania. It took up 1,800 feet of floor space and weighed 30 tons. At the time, it would have been impossible to envision a consumer-grade computer small enough to be available in every home.
This convinced the colonels and generals present that electronic computers were important.
Within a single generation, though, that impossible dream became a reality. Thanks to the microprocessor, computers could be made smaller, cheaper, and more powerful than ENIAC's creators could ever imagine. John Blankenbaker invented Kenback-1, the first PC, in 1971. Fewer than 50 models of the Kenback-1 were ever built. 50 years later, personal computing has shaped the modern world.
With this tool for modern times, a person can quickly master such jobs as accounting or word processing.
Number 6. GPS. When the Soviet Union launched Sputnik in 1957, American physicists realized they could track its radio transmissions thanks to the Doppler effect. The US military saw great value in this technology. By 1968, their transit system utilized a network of 36 satellites for global positioning. It was one of several systems in existence. In 1973, the Department of Defense launched a project to synthesize various tracking systems. By 1978, the military began to launch and test modern Navstar GPS satellites.
When it is available, the space shuttle will be used to place Navstar satellites in orbit.
President Reagan approved commercial use of GPS in 1983. By the start of the 20th century, GPS devices were incorporated both into civilian vehicles and phones. Today, it is an essential technology for navigation, business, and military operations.
What we are doing is calculating exactly where the center of this satellite is relative to where we are.
Number 5. The light bulb. Bringing light to the masses was one of the greatest technological leaps in human history. The mid-1800s saw great competition in this space, as inventors around the world raced to invent their electric light. The first filament bulb was created by British inventor Warren De La Rue in 1840. His use of platinum filament made it expensive and impractical. Joseph Swan in the UK and Thomas Edison in the US each independently invented bulbs using cheaper filaments.
Finally, in October 1879, Edison had a breakthrough when he realized that a very thin carbon filament with high electrical resistance was needed to make a light bulb practical.
Edison received a patent on his bulb in early 1880, a little before Swan. The light bulb, an invention that could light up every home, revolutionized life around the world. It led to the development of the electrical grid and set the stage for our modern electricity-dependent society.
In fact, the bulb he created is very similar to the light bulbs we use today.
Number 4. The telephone. In this modern era of text-first calling is passé.
1876? How did the telephone used to work here these times? Isn't that the little cup thing that they put on their ear?
It can be hard to remember that the telephone was a big deal. Scottish transplant Alexander Graham Bell invented the electric telephone in 1876. The phone's predecessor, the telegraph, only transmitted brief written messages.
Watson, come here. I want to see you.
I heard you. I heard what you said.
The telephone, however, allowed people to speak with one another in real time over long distances. It was a game-changing technology that sped up the efficiency of business and could instantly connect people globally.
Bell's vision will revolutionize communication.
Emergencies could be reported to authorities as they occurred. The telephone effectively shrunk the world and sped it up. While Bell was Scottish-born and also lived in Canada as well as the US, he patented his invention in the US.
On July 9, 1877, the Bell Telephone Company launches with Hubbard as president and Bell as chief electrician and largest shareholder.
Number 3, the assembly line.
I think the assembly line is the most significant technological development of the 20th century.
For the majority of human history,
I don't even know what the assembly line is. Am I stupid?
Manufactured goods were custom made. Every model of a machine, good, piece of clothing, or tool was in some way unique. Interchangeable parts standardized products, allowing for easier and cheaper manufacturing.
So this is the assembly line, like where stuff's just done automatically, kind of.
In 1901, automobile manufacturer Ransom Olds took it a step further with the assembly line. By standardizing and automating many aspects of manufacturing, uniform goods can get created faster and at lower costs. Olds' vehicle, the Oldsmobile Curved Dash, was the first mass-produced car ever made. Olds' method was adopted and perfected by Henry Ford with his Model T in 1913. Today, the assembly line combines human labor and automation to create virtually every mass-produced product on Earth.
From its earliest forms to the state of the art, the assembly line has evolved by constantly adjusting the relationship between people and machines.
Number 2, the airplane. People have always observed birds and insects and dreamed of flight. The Greeks spoke of Icarus and Daedalus and their wax and feather wings. Leonardo da Vinci theorized and sketched a flying machine. But it wasn't until 1903 in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, that the...
I can't really comprehend, and I don't think anyone really could, how mad it must have been like when these guys actually flew this plane. Because beforehand, I mean, flying in the air just wouldn't have been something that you could really comprehend or even imagine, because it's just never been done, and humans had been on this earth for so long. It's like you think that's a possibility? No way. And then they've done this, and then 12, 13, 14 years later, World War I starts, and planes are just dominating the skies. And now we're obviously at the point where we are now, but it's crazy how quickly we advance with flight from a point of just never being able to fly before.
The airplane came to life. Wilbur and Orville Wright experimented with aeronautics for 4 years until their successful flight.
The Dayton, Ohio duo became the first people in history to successfully pilot an engine-powered airplane.
Within a decade, their invention was first used in warfare. Within 7 decades, their technology evolved and took us to the moon. Today, the airplane is an indispensable technology. The plane lets us transport goods and people around the world quickly. We once fought wars over goods and trade. Today, the plane allows trade to flow freely all over the planet. Before we unveil our...
I just want to see, actually, because I don't think planes were the first things to fly in the sky. Because they were like Zeppelins during the World Wars. Wait, the first vehicle to fly in the sky. Flying car. Sorry? Waterman's Aerobill. Who was the first? Like, when were surely hot air balloons were made way before. If they weren't, then I'm shocked. Oh yeah, 1783. So I guess there were different forms of flying in the air, but obviously nothing compared to a plane. But it is still insane. I was just trying to understand, because obviously I knew we would have been in the air beforehand. Wait, what was Zeppelins? Because Zeppelins are weird, man. I can't even lie. They're the weirdest thing in the world. Whenever I picture a Zeppelin, I literally just think of World War. Is it World War I or World War II? Like, they're just creepy. They're just Zeppelins are blimps, aren't they? I don't know why I'm saying Zeppelin. What? Like, are blimps still used for advertising, TV coverage, tourism, and some research? I don't think I've ever seen a blimp in my life. And last one, blimp versus... I assume Zeppelins are the same. Maybe Zeppelins are just used for like warfare. They're both blimp and Zeppelin are both types of airship, or whatever the hell that says, that have been used. Why am I reading the AI one? God damn, AI is mad. Jesus. AI is probably a US invention as well. Zeppelins and blimps are 2 types of airships. Both are self-propelled with lighter than air gas. Blah, blah, blah. Zeppelins are rigid airships that use an internal framework to maintain their shape. Blimps are non-grid airships that rely on internal air pressure to maintain their shape. Right, that's not really explaining it to me because I've got a monkey brain, but I take it, I understand.
Our top pick. Here are a few honorable mentions. Hearing aids. This invention helps people...
1895. These are class. I mean, obviously, I hope I never have to not never have to use them, but like here, there's different levels of hearing aids, right? There's hearing aids where you can hear but you can't hear very well, or there's hearing aids where you physically can't hear anything. I'm pretty sure. Like either side, they're incredible, but the ones obviously where you just can't hear. Like I've seen videos of people hearing their like mums for the first time and stuff, and it's mental that you can do that. Like when you actually think about how you can just make a device that can help you hear stuff, it's fucking ridiculous. And I wonder if there's ever going to be a time where you can do that with sight, like where people who are born blind or they just can't see things, like I mean like fully blind. If there'll ever be a device that can help. Wait, there is, isn't there? Wait, sorry, I'm searching again. I'm now on a little rampage. Are there? I'm not. Is there a device that can fully blind people see? I'm gonna load. That's not. Okay, I don't think there is. I've not heard of anything there is. Well, it doesn't restore normal vision. It helps people who are completely blind perceive light and reflections. Okay, so we're not at a point then, but I'm sure we'll get there. It's one of those things where this is just as crazy as this. Like the hearing it and the seeing it all just as crazy as each other. So I'm sure we'll get to a point where that's possible, which is mental, but incredible.
With hearing loss, communicate and reconnect with the world.
Hi, baby. Is that Poppy?
That's so mad. Hi. This device on this little baby's head changes his whole world.
Cardiac defibrillators. Thanks to this invention,
legendary,
hearts around the world can get a jump start when they need one.
Press flashing shock button.
Clear.
Shock 1 delivered.
3D printing. The potential applications of this young technology are endless.
We get very nice cartilage tissue that have healing capacity, so we are very optimistic.
I still don't fully know how incredible 3D printers are. The actual idea of them is mad, but I don't feel like I fully know the actual importance of them because they're still quite a new invention, and I guess we're still like learning about them and they're still getting better and better. But I'm gonna take this word, I'm gonna take it as it is. It seems like it's one of those things that can change everything. I mean, you've seen 3D printed homes and stuff, so in future, God knows what they'll 3D print.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe
Shush.
on your phone. Make sure you go.
Shush.
Number 1, the internet.
Here we go. The interwebs. I don't actually know what the interwebs is. I'm just saying it's a joke. Is it just another way to say the internet? Also, I was chatting shit. The internet was made in '69. So, email was actually... The email was after the internet. Okay, so I was just waffling. I didn't know the internet was in '69. I thought that was like in the 80s or the 90s even. Well, damn.
The internet and the information age it sparked has created a seismic shift that completely changed how we live and communicate.
The most revolutionary technologies of human history are notable for making the world smaller. The wheel, the sail, the internal combustion engine, the telephone, and the airplane all revolutionized travel and communication. But the internet gives people access to the entirety of human existence with just a few keystrokes. In 1969, researchers at the Advanced Research Projects Agency created the first network between labs at UCLA and Stanford.
The communication from UCLA to Stanford was meant to say login, but only the LO made it through.
Over time, their network expanded further and further, standardizing protocols and connecting anyone with a device. The internet has revolutionized the way human beings share information. For both good and ill, communication and access to resources are better now than at any other time in history.
And it would not have been possible without the pioneering researchers and hackers who knew computer networks could do more than launch a counter-strike.
Do we miss a quintessential American invention?
I mean, that is some invention, I can't lie. The internet, thank God for it, because my whole life is on the internet. I use the internet for everything, and it is just, it is incredible. The AC induction motor, as well as alternating current. Yeah, I don't know. You look at the telegraph, which I guess is before sort of telephones, which was mentioned, but it wasn't actually an item that was there. Electronic guitar, you know, it's true. Hey, for some people, it definitely is, man. I guess it's dependent on what you do for a job or what you enjoy. Like, if you're properly into your music and stuff, hell yeah, you're going to put that there. How did you manage to forget the American invention of the transistor and the integrated circuit, without which none of the other items you mentioned would be possible? Yeah, but now we're just getting into specifics and stuff. Like, I mean, you're probably right, but hey, I'm probably the wrong person to think about that. But yeah, this was a really cool video looking into these inventions, and got to say thank you for all these things plus many more. And you can thank British people for stuff from probably 200, 300 years ago. You know, we had our time where we were inventing things. Let's just see British. I've probably searched this many times before. British inventions. Not inventors, inventions. I know some, but I should just see. Just, you know, I can get a bit of reflecting telescope. Shout out Isaac Newton. This is what I mean. This is all 200 years ago. Toothbrush. Oh, that's a very good one. What were they doing before toothbrush? Soda water. Oh. I mean, to be fair, soda water is actually pretty good, isn't it? Because everyone has fizzy drinks now. Hydraulic press. Okay, this seems to be a list where it's getting to more and more recent things. Ah, my internet's bugging out. How do I just keep stuff going? There we go. The railway, actually, yeah. Passenger railway. Photography. Chocolate bar. Damn, we were the food connoisseurs of our time. Telephone. The light bulb. I guess light bulb's one that's shared between the US and Joseph Swan. Steam turbine. Sorry? Oh, you cheeky bastards. You cheeky little bastards. Well, there we go. This has pissed me off. There we go. This is a better one. Alright, it's going to take another 2 years to load, but come on. Come on. There we go. We've seen all this. Isaac Newton, thank you very much. We've seen all this. With the hovercraft, the thermos flask. Oh, the flask. Don't actually use flasks, but I can see the importance. Tin can. That is actually one of the most important ones. I will say that right now. Steam engine. The seed drill. I mean, toothbrush is cool, right? Oh, fuck. Yeah, get stuffed, mate. Honestly, the audacity. I'm just looking at that just to see, but yeah, these ones are obviously, in this day and age, so important. I mean, the thing is with inventions, thousands of years ago, there would have been inventions that had then led to different inventions because of that. So you could really go back to all these things where we could just thank the first person who wore shoes, or not shoes, sorry, they probably wore pebbles for shoes or something, I don't know. I'm chatting shit. But you know what I mean? Like, we can thank the first ever inventions realistically. The first person to make fire, you know? Just scratching two rocks together could get little sparks and that can cause all this stuff. Who would have known? But, yeah, that's just how it is. But this is a really cool video. Hopefully you enjoyed. And, yeah, until next time, like, subscribe, and peace.